This video, I'm going to hop into your subscriber questions. I've got my laptop open and I've got a handful of great questions from my subscribers. So let's get to it. Damien from Marketing Food Online, and as always, I hope you guys are having a great day. So I'm going to get into your questions. I've got a handful of them open here on my laptop. So if you see me looking down on the corner, I'm going to read them off and get to them. We've had a tremendous amount of questions, and I apologize I haven't uploaded a ton of new videos lately. I'm trying to get one every single day. We are middle of September, and fourth quarter is kind of already upon us, believe it or not, here in the shipping department, and we're wrapping up a day. So my eyes may look a little glossied over because it's been a very long day. So let me hop into it. Let me get this straight here. Alrighty. So another thing really quick, I have a ton of services as well. If you're brand new to Marketing Food Online, I also offer consulting. So if you want to check down in the description, as always, I leave some links there to our website, marketingfoodonline.com. And that has a bunch of consulting. We have email consulting. We also have one-on-one, 1 hour consultation phone calls. I can speak to you directly. So if you have a handful of questions that you really want answered and you need about an hour of my time, it's 1 hour at a time, and you can check those links for more information about that as well. All right, so let me hop right into it. I got a big variety of questions tonight. Actually, the questions that I have are, some of them are about shipping food products. Some of them are about opening cottage food businesses from home. Another one's about food truck insurance. So I'm going to hop into it. It might be a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So the really quick question I had from Gloria, and I try not to read the last name, but Gloria had a question in regards to shipping a cake that is a frosted cake. It's similar to buttercream frosting. So she actually had a question about, do I freeze it and then wrap it? I'd actually, really quick, some backstory on this one. I did a video about how to ship cakes through the mail, which is something that we do here. We ship bundt cakes. We ship a handful of different cakes. So she wanted to know if she should freeze it with the icing and then wrap it in the shrink wrap and heat seal it, or heat seal it first and then shrink wrap it. Always, 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 you want to freeze and make sure your cake is solid, and then you want to wrap it. For instance, just think of it this way. If you have it iced and you are putting some type of shrink wrap on it, and you shrink wrap that and it's got icing that hasn't set up and is very, very strong and firm, it's going to get mushy, and then you're going to freeze it. It's going to become a big mess. We actually make our cakes, and once we do that, we actually ice them on the top. And once we get that done, then we freeze them completely, and they are in a sub-freezer that we have. It gets very, very cold. So it's like almost like a rock. Then we shrink wrap that, and we immediately ship it out. Of course, we put ice packs into it. I'm not a big fan of dry ice. It's very dangerous if it's not handled properly from your customer when they open the box. So if they mishandle dry ice, it can cause a serious problem. I'm not a fan of that. So we just use ice packs, but we use a certain size and a certain quantity based on how big the cake is. So freeze it, then seal it, and then ship it ASAP. All right, so the next one I've got up. I have a food truck. I'm getting ready to start. Do I need any type of insurance for the truck itself? Yes, you do. You should have commercial vehicle insurance policy for your food truck as well as your food business. Now, a lot of times you can get a food business or food producer's policy when you let them know that you're a food truck. So your actual policy is going to be written based upon the fact that you have a food truck, not a restaurant or not a food manufacturer, or you're a home-based business. So the food business insurance policies are written based upon the type of food business that you actually have. And also in some states, they're going to require certain types of additional insurance when it comes to food trucks. Food trucks are totally different types of food businesses. Obviously, they're on wheels, and they are you're able to transport them around. They're not a brick and mortar restaurant, I understand. But you do have certain types of insurances, and as well, which included in that really quick, which is not necessarily an insurance, but permits and licenses will vary based on the type of food truck and what the cities and counties as well as the states require, because believe it or not, every state, county, and city will vary ever so slightly, but they're going to have different variations of what they need for permits, licenses, when you store your actual food truck, where you're going to store it and all that. So you want to make sure that you have those in place too. When it comes to the type of insurance that you will need, you will also need a policy written specifically for a food truck, okay? Next one. There is a a cottage food operator. I'll use her first name, Melissa. Actually, this was a recent comment, a question in regards to what other states are similar to Florida as far as how easy it is to open a cottage food business from home. Well, to kind of answer that, I can't really tell you what's easier or harder. It's really based upon what your interpretation of what easy is. Some states make it to where you have to jump through a lot of hoops. You got to get different permits. You have to take food handling courses. You got to have this and that. You have to have a license. Some states, they have no inspection. They have no licenses required. You have to just take a course and then you're on your own. Some states actually require you to submit recipes, the list of foods that you're going to be doing, where you're going to be making them, how you're going to be making your process. So every state is actually really, really different. Florida is one of the, I don't want to say easiest, but Florida has a lot less red tape. They have a lot less as regards to licensing and permits and such. So it may come across as a lot easier, but then operating your business and marketing it and growing it, that's not going to be easy. That's going to be a really big challenge. But there are other states that may not require so much licensing and may not require so many permits and such. So that's kind of like wherever you want to kind of grade that based upon what's really easy and what's not. That's going to be up to your interpretation. But yes, Florida is a much more simpler state to start with when it comes to a cottage food business or building a business from home. Florida is really, really a lot easier, I guess you could say, in a lot of cases. There's not as much red tape. So some states, actually, by the way, you may or may not know this, but some states, they don't even have cottage food laws, and they don't allow any type. I think it's about 4, if I'm not mistaken. There's 4 that do not allow any type of food business from home. California had one recently, by the way. They signed into law. It was actually a state law, but it has to be adopted by the counties and the municipalities where you live. But they actually allow people to create almost these restaurant-like businesses from home, and it's completely legit and allowed. So that's something that's really relatively new. All right, so next one up, yes. So this was in regards to having your food breakdown food. Here it is. This is from Trina. So how can I get someone to decipher my recipe? So I always make the same product, or make the same, but I use other products. So how do I get a food lab to break down the recipe? So just to try to understand the question, and I hope I understand this correctly. So if you want someone to create a label for your food product, and you want them to decipher your recipe for you, basically you would need to send the product to them, and they would break that down for the nutritional analysis. They would have to run all of that information there in their lab, and that would create a nutritional label for your product. And from that, they can decipher. I'm hoping I'm understanding your question correctly. They can decipher the recipe, and then from there, they'll let you know. They'll send you back the information on your fat count, your salts, your carbohydrates, and everything else that would be on top of a nutritional label. But that would have to be done in their lab. They have the equipment and the know-how to have that done for you. So if you're looking for someone to create a label from your product or your recipe, they can break that recipe down in their lab, and they can do that for you. It's not cheap. It is actually quite expensive when you're first starting a business and you're getting up and running. But remember that it's an investment in your business. So once you get it done, your label is complete and finished, then you're good to go. So next one up, let's see what we got. Okay, so how do I market, excuse me. So how do I market, okay, here we go. How do I market my home-based business when I'm selling food? Now, that's going to be based upon how you can promote and how you advertise, how you market. That's going to be based upon the events and the local venues that you go to. If you're going to fairs, festivals, farmers markets, and those types of places, always try your best to promote yourself while you're there by having a big sign, having brochures, having information that can go with your product. Once someone buys a product from you, if you have a website or if you're going to be back in the area, you want to promote that with maybe business cards, maybe a discount, a buy one, get one free, or let them know, give them an incentive for your customer to come back to your business or your booth, or even in your area at the farmer's market. So if you're going to be in a certain venue, or if it's a seasonal thing, maybe, because fall's starting now, if you're going to be at a specific venue for the next 3 or 4 weekends, give them an incentive to come back. Not every customer that comes to your booth or comes to your farmer market stand where you are with your tent and all that good stuff, not every single customer is going to buy something, but they may try it. So if you're giving out a sample of some kind, make sure you give them a reason to come back and let them know that, hey, over the next couple of weekends, a few weekends, I'm going to be at this farmer's market. Bring your family, your friends. Here's some discount cards. Give them coupons. Give them some reason to come back. If you have a website, let them know they can go to their website and find out more information. Maybe there's even a coupon that they can go to your website and download for free to get the coupon, and that's going to give them a discount. That discount is the incentive to have the customer come back. So you want to kind of dig into, learn a little bit about marketing, promoting, advertising, getting your product out there, but interacting with the customers that you do get, because those customers could come back and drop a lot of money in your booth. Let them know that you're going to be there and give them a reason to come back. All right, so next one up. Okay, so here is a question about... Fantastic. Okay, so here's a question about the Facebook ads. So I did a video, I probably did about 2 weeks ago. I was explaining to them how we run very basic, simple Facebook ads. We actually just use the boost, and we boost some of our posts that are links to our online stores. And I was able to actually spend about $35, and it sold several $1,000s worth of product. Now, of course, as always, I don't tell you guys these things to toot my own horn. I'm giving you guys the experiments that we actually are doing to let you know that you could do the exact same thing. And in that video, I was showing somebody. So they wanted to know a little bit more about how it worked, and as far as what the Facebook groups can do for you when you don't want to spend as much money on ads. So I did a video about, here's something really interesting, and I love talking about this because it costs you nothing. So it's basically, the idea is that Facebook ads, you can pay for an advertisement. If you don't know, I'm going to run down really quick. You can pay for an ad, and you can target specific people who have interest in your product. It's very simple. Now, there's a way that you can do this without actually spending a dollar, not even a penny, actually. They are known as the Facebook groups. If you can associate yourself with a Facebook group that is similar to the product or service that you're selling, you can kind of work your way into these groups, which, by the way, some of them have 20,000, 30,000, even 100,000 people that are part of these groups. And I'll give you an example. So we make an Italian, we have a line of Italian, I'm Italian, so we do an Italian line of cookies. There's specific type of cookies that Italians like and they make during the holidays, etc., etc. So I went into Facebook and found several Italian American groups. I became a member, I became part of that group, and I began to interact with the members in the group. Now, once you do that, then little by little, I started to put links to the cookies that I make and say, hey, you need to check out these cookies. They're classic Italian recipes, etc., etc. You need to click on them and take a look. They're so delicious. They're made to order. They're fresh. So I do that, and it costs me nothing. So then what I'm getting is people within the groups, because they actually are the target audience that I'm trying to get. Those are the customers I want. They click on the link. They go to my store, and they end up buying a product. Guess what? It costs me $0 to do that. It just costs me my time. I have to spend time doing it. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not some instant, lottery win. That's not how it works. So you spend a couple of weeks building up this reputation or building up some interaction with people in the group, and then you start to post these little links to your products. It's very simple, but trust me, it works. So to answer your question, yes, without spending money on a Facebook ad, there are ways you can kind of get around that and use the existing groups they already have on Facebook. Absolutely free. Takes a little bit of time. But once you get that in there, and then people buy it, and then they leave feedback, and they tell their friends, and then they start discussing it, they talk about it over and over, now it just grows. And it costs you $0, just a little bit of your time. So yes, give that a shot. That's for John S. John, if you want to try that, do try that. And let me know, by the way, give me some feedback on this video if you can. After you try that, give it a couple weeks. It's a little bit of time. But you can definitely get exposure for your product absolutely free of charge by using Facebook groups. And you can do this with anything. Like I did before, there's even, let me show you this. I'm a big beef jerky, I'm a big meat jerky fan. This is one of the products that I absolutely love here. Okay. And this is like an all-natural beef jerky. It comes in a small pack. So if I were making this, here's my point. If I was making this type of a product, how could I promote this? Guess what? There's actually groups on Facebook with people who love meat jerkies. They love to camp. They love to hunt. They love to be outdoors, backpacking. guess what? This type of a product, if I made this, I could promote this for free to a bunch of people who camp, go outdoors, they like to be hunters, they like to, whatever it may be that they could enjoy that. I could be a member of that group and promote my own jerky and sell it for free, literally. That's how it works. So I'll wrap up this video, and I hope that this answers for all of you who I answered the questions for. I hope that helps you guys out. And of course, if you guys have more questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. I'll try to get to them as soon as possible. And we're getting a little bit busier now for the fourth quarter of the holidays, but I'm going to try to get up as many of these as possible. So please do ask me questions. I do appreciate it. And as always, if you are not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and look for our services down in the description. If you want to work with me directly, I'll be happy to help you out. So we'll see you on the next video.